Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana, and today we are talking about Wicked and Gladiator 2 and other TV and movies on our radar. Sam is back to join me. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Diana. I'm good. How are you?
I'm so excited about our conversation. I'm always excited talking about TV and movies and talking with you. I just love it.
It's like
So,
one of my favorite things.
I know, me too. So there are so many blockbusters this year that we're talking about and that are coming out. So our question of the day is, what blockbuster are you most anticipating this year or next? Okay, we only have one more month for this one, but there are some that are coming out. So, Sam, I want you to think about that. You can share your answer later on. I will do the same for you, friends out there. What are you anticipating? We would love to know. You can leave us a comment wherever you are watching us or wherever you are listening to us. You can get to all of our social media at screensinfocus.com. We have all of our links there, or you can even call us. Yeah, we would love it if you would call us, and you can do so at 669-223-8542 because we would love to hear from you. All right. We're going to start off with Wicked. So this movie was so highly anticipated because the stage musical was so popular. And
Lar.
and so I had seen it. It was one of the first stage musicals that I had seen because I live here near San Francisco. And so I saw it. It was amazing, but I have to tell you, it was a while ago. And I only remember bits and pieces. I know the basics of what happens, but I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So I kind of went in with a little bit of fresh eyes on this, but I was excited because of the cast. I was like, I love these women, and I had seen Cynthia Erivo and other things. So, yes, highly anticipating it. What did you think, Sam?
So I, like you, I had seen the musical in 2011 here in Pittsburgh at the Benedum, and it had been quite a while since I had seen it. I think it came back, but I didn't go. So I walked in kind of like remembering like, like the who the characters were, like in the major points of the plot, but I had forgotten like a ton of stuff, which was really nice because it was like seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed that part of it. And I was really nervous at first because I'd seen the runtime was 2 hours and 40 minutes, and that's a very long movie. And it's only part one. Didn't learn that. I was like, wait, what? And I thought there's been a trend of some long movies feeling really long. Not that they were bad, but you just feel every bit of that 2 hours and 40 minutes. And that didn't happen with Wicked. I mean, I knew it was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, but I was like, give me 2 hours and 40 more minutes of that, please. Um, the stage show will always hold a place in my heart, but I think the movie will too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
So,
also saw the play with the same, I saw the movie with the same person that I'd seen the play with, so it was extra special.
yeah.
And she and I kind of have, I don't know, not that we're like Glinda and Alpha or anything like that, but we just have like our bond is kind of like that, and so it was extra special. Just like she's like the pink girly girl, and I'm the wearing dark colors, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and so it was just really nice.
So I almost went with the person that I went to see it with, and she had said, "Come with us." And I almost did, but my son and his girlfriend wanted to see it. So I
hmm
said, "Oh, it's okay," because they had already bought their tickets. I said, "It's okay. I'll go see with my son and his girlfriend." And his girlfriend, of course, wanted to see it, but my son was like, "Okay, I'll go watch it." He, wasn't it wasn't something on his radar to watch, but I'm going to say for anyone that hasn't seen it, or even maybe from a man's perspective, he really enjoyed it. Like, he didn't
hmm
think he would. He's like, I don't know. But then he came away and he's like, that was really good. And I think for him, it's the story,
hmm
it's that take of the Wizard of Oz and what happened, why what happened to her, like her influences in her life, which we'll get into. We'll get into all that in a minute. But what I wanted to say was that he wasn't even expecting anything. And for him to go in and step away from it and walk away from it and really enjoy it, that's just showing a lot about what this movie is, which is very cool.
My
So,
husband, he hasn't had a chance to see it just because I went with my friend and he was like not going to touch that. And I think we're going to go like over the holiday because we get the break off in between a
yeah.
Christmas and New Year's, so we have like 10 days to do nothing. So I think we're going to go see Wicked, and I'm excited to see it again.
Yes, yes, I would. I want to see it again too. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Come to
So it's
Pittsburgh.
a, yeah, yeah. Let me fly there just to watch it again, okay?
It'd be the most expensive movie ticket ever.
Yeah. So, in saying that, I gave you his initial reaction. I want you to share with me your initial reaction to it.
So I was awestruck. I'd never really seen Ariana Grande in really anything. Like I know she was in some TV shows when I was younger, but I never really watched her. And I've seen her like in music videos, but I don't know. And then I'd seen Cynthia Erivo in the HBO TV show The Outsider. It came out in 2020, and she was phenomenal in it.
Yes.
But the character was so unlikable that I was like, I'm gonna go into this like that character doesn't exist because they're so different. Which I mean, I guess you should kind of do like like anyway. But I had never seen her in anything else. So I wanted to be like that doesn't count in my mind, and I was blown away. Ariana was so funny, and their chemistry is out of this world. And Cynthia, just the emotions that you see on her face, and you can hear it in the music. Oh, I got like chills. I like, oh, it was so good, just phenomenal. What about you? What was your initial reaction?
I'm going to be perfectly honest. I went in, I really enjoyed it, but sometimes for me, it takes a minute for things
Mm-hmm.
to absorb. And I was like in it, the emotion. I'm feeling like I enjoyed the movie more than I did the stage musical. So I will say that for me personally. And is it because I'm seeing these people, their emotions, these actors, I can see it in their eyes and the way they express it. It feels more intimate, even though it's really big.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're on stage, yes, you can feel it, but they're so far away.
Mm-hmm.
They're so far away. And here you get to see everything so up close. And they're both phenomenal actresses, singers, everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I did prefer this to the stage play, but now I want to go back and see the stage play because I might have a different take once I've seen this and go back to that. But I felt myself, even though as much as I did like it and I was excited about it, I felt like every day, every because it's been a couple weeks now that we saw it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I feel like every time I learned something even more about it, I love it even more. And that's not to say I didn't love it. It's just that something, the work that went into it, that again, we'll talk about as we go through this, that I thought it was phenomenal. So, what were some of the highlights for you in this?
So I think the singing for me is like the number one highlight for me. Everyone who sang, and the way
Yeah.
that Ariana and Cynthia's like voice like melded together was just insane. I will say where our seats were in like the theater weren't the best. We weren't in like the first row, we were in the second. And so when we buy our tickets in a couple weeks, I want to be like, yeah, I want to get like, like a better seat and see if that makes a difference because I had a hard time sometimes telling them apart.
Mm.
Like when they were singing, if they were in like a scene together and like you really couldn't see whose mouth was moving. I couldn't tell them apart, which maybe that's the whole thing, but I was like, ooh, I don't know, man. And then I think the casting was just like bonkers out of this world, nearly perfect. I love Jonathan Bailey because he's in Bridgerton and I love that show.
Yeah.
And even though it's not entirely different from Bridgerton, like Anthony and I think Fierro would probably be like really good friends down at
Yeah.
like the club together. But it was a different, like, it's just a different role. Like I've never heard him sing, and he was so much fun and just a delight to watch. And I love Jeff Goldblum. but he can sometimes be too much Jeff Goldblum, and I
Yeah.
felt like this was the perfect amount of Jeff Goldblum. It was meant to be like a an understated Jeff Goldblum, and he was phenomenal. Michelle Yeoh was amazing as always, and it was nice to hear Peter Dinklage's voice because he has
Yeah.
such like a distinct like just voice.
Yeah.
Um, I had forgotten that there were talking animals in there, and I was like, "Oh, there's a goat!" Talking about things that like I didn't remember being like part of the um just part of
Story.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the costumes and designs were just insanely beautiful. It was truly like being in Oz, and the theater lover in me just really loved how in my opinion the movie really nailed the musical theater vibe with its like punchy humor, expressive choreography, and like an unforgettable show-stopping like finale. Like just like I
Yes.
can oh my gosh, just like I didn't want to leave. Just
Yeah.
so much, so good.
Yeah, everything you said was perfect, Sam. I'm like, yes, 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 and yes. This is exactly how I feel. She's saying it like how I would want to express it. So that's perfect. I love it. I the cast to me was the best, especially of course the two leads. We've already talked about them, but as you were saying, sometimes it was hard for you to identify one from the other. I thought the same thing. I'm like, wait,
Okay.
who's singing? Wait, is that and they're I can't even talk. Both their voices are so good. They're so good. Oh, and their chemistry as friends. So that moment in the Ozdust ballroom where Glinda finally realizes,
Oh,
how a little bit of how Alphaba is treated and how she feels. And it's almost as if Galinda finally has, because it's always about, she's just so prissy and she probably gets everything her way and everything's just,
mm-hmm.
she doesn't even consider other people's feelings. And so here I think it's like, whoa, what is happening to me? I'm feeling something and it's for somebody else.
Yep.
And so, she feels for her. And that moment when they touch hands, I was like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
this is so
chills.
emotional. Yeah. Yeah.
And then like
And
at the very end, it's like
yes.
called back. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that what you were gonna
Yeah,
say,
no,
Diana?
go,
Oh, I'm so
go.
sorry.
Keep going.
Oh no, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, and then at the very end when it's called back and she does the like hat thing. Oh, my heart.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, yeah, at the end, just that whole song and all
Mm-hmm.
of that. And oh my God, Cynthia Erivo is so, I don't know what to say because her voice is the most incredible voice. And so is Ariana's too.
Mm-hmm.
But something about Cynthia Erivo's voice in this, it's just she's catapulted to a new level that is going to
Well,
be hard to reach, I think, for
I
some
think in my
people.
opinion, and this isn't a knock against Ariana at all, but we're used to her voice. We hear her
Yeah,
sing.
true,
She's
true.
phenomenal. I love all her
Yes.
albums. And
Yeah.
I think for us hearing Cynthia's voice, this is the first time I've ever heard her voice. Like I'm sure she's been in other stuff, maybe some like
Yeah.
stage plays and things, but yeah, it's just, I think that's why I was blown away because I'd never heard it before. And I
I
didn't want to
have,
hear mm,
and I can't think of where I've heard her voice before, but I have feel like I've heard her, and it's probably something very obvious that is not coming to my mind right now, but I know I've heard her voice before. I know I've heard her singing something before. I also saw the HBO show The Outsiders or Outside. That was so
The
good. That's
Outsider.
when I first began to know who Cynthia was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw her in Harriet. She was in
Mm-hmm.
Harriet. I saw that movie. And that for some reason, I feel like I've heard her sing in something. And again, it's
Maybe
probably
she sang in
super
Harriet.
obvious.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to look that up. I'm going to have a link in the show notes of what that possibly could be. But I knew how talented she was. But again, not like this. I thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wow, this is incredible. And she's giving me chills and then I had read, see, this is why I'm loving it even more. After I've watched it, I read that everything that either of them did physically, they were singing live
Yep.
as they're acting this out, which a lot of people do not do. And I
Mm-mm.
can't even imagine. And when Cynthia was flying around at the end, flying
Mm-hmm.
around, and she's singing like that. How?
Yep.
How is that possible?
It's
It's
bonkers.
crazy. And also, when they were singing Popular, they were saying that Ariana, her, the director was saying that her comedic timing and
Hmm.
ability is so on point that it was her decision to do a lot of the things. And he's like, this is great. He didn't even, she's directing herself. She just has that much talent. Because I don't think people give Ariana
Mm-mm.
credit because they're like, Ariana, she's a pop star. She was a Disney,
Yeah.
this and that,
She wears too
whatever it
much
is.
pink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever it is. But she put in the work. They both put in so much work into these roles, and
Yeah.
you can see it. I respect them for it. And yes, the other cast, all the cast people that you just mentioned,
Hmm.
I love them too. I'm so glad that they were in this. So it was phenomenal. So people should go watch it.
They really should.
Yeah. And I can't wait to watch part 2
I
and
know.
and see what happens. So,
It's coming out like a
is
year
there
exactly, I think.
yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we move on?
Mm-mm. I don't think
Okay.
so.
All right. So go watch Wicked cuz we both recommend it.
Hmm.
All right. We're going to move into Gladiator 2. Wait, what is it?
Gladiator
Is
2.
No, what is the combined name? What did they call it?
Oh, it's Glicked.
Glicked. Okay,
Yeah.
because we're having a Glicked podcast because it's like Barbenheimer or whatever it was called. What was it
Yeah.
called? Was it
Yeah.
Barbenheimer?
It
Yeah.
was
Okay.
Barbenheimer. Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of cool. I don't know how they do that. They put these two amazing, totally opposite type of
Hmm.
movies. I love both these movies. I'm going to start off by saying that. I was anticipating Gladiator. I couldn't wait to see it. And then as it was approaching, I was hearing little bits like, "Oh, this." I'm like,
Hmm.
"Why are they trying to pick apart Gladiator? I'm going to go watch it." It's these four amazing actors, more than that, but I mean, the four main ones that are in my brain was
Hmm.
I love that person, I love that person, I love that person, I love that person, all separately for all of their work and the fact that they were all going to be in this film. And to me,
Hmm.
they're all just four amazing, incredible, really hot actors right now. I also love Connie Nielsen, so I want to give her credit too. So,
Hmm.
what was your reaction to Gladiator 2?
So I went in not expecting much because I was like, it's just gonna be an action movie, whatever. And it was really fun. It was an action movie. There was a ton of action that looked really, really cool, looked awesome. I liked the casting and I thought it was entertaining. It was a little long, and I wish they had fleshed out a little more of the characters, especially the twins. My husband's a really big history nerd, and we actually went to the Colosseum while we were on our honeymoon in
Ah,
Italy,
yeah.
into like almost a year ago. And so all of this like knowledge of Rome, the Roman Empire, is floating about my head. And so like I noticed that they mentioned Poseidon instead of Neptune, and Poseidon's the Greek god and Neptune's the Roman god. But I looked it up after because I was like, I had to have heard that wrong. My husband was like, no, I think they said it, whatever. So I looked it up, and they thought the audiences would recognize Poseidon more than Neptune, so they changed it. Very weird,
Okay,
but that didn't.
I didn't even hear it, so I was out of it.
I'm a weirdo, but I thought the
No,
costuming
you're
was really
not.
cool. The Coliseum looked awesome. Like it was really nice being like, hey, we were there.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I'll watch it again whenever it comes like to like a streaming service and I can watch it like at home because I did enjoy it the first time, and on the second watch I might notice some things that I didn't before.
Yeah, I loved it, like I said. I mean, I
Hmm.
really loved it. It's funny, but sometimes when I'm watching a movie, I say it to myself. Like, when I watched Barbie, I did this. I'm like, I love this movie. This is phenomenal. And I thought, how can this be happening? Okay, I know that's another movie, but that's what I was thinking. This is making me so happy. It was when Ryan Gosling was singing and dancing and doing his thing. I'm like, he's so cool. I love him. Anyways, I really enjoyed this one. And I said to myself when we walked out, I told my husband, I said, I'd go watch that again right now. I'd pay to go watch that again. That's how entertained I was. I was
Yeah.
entertained. And I think a lot of the reasons, one is because I loved all four actors. but also it was because the visuals for me were I wasn't expecting some of it.
Hmm.
I felt like they were showing you just a lot of work that goes into doing things that you don't normally see, and I kind of appreciated that. Like, I don't, just seeing stuff like that, something about the director taking the time to show you the effort it takes to do some things, and I like
Hmm.
that. I also liked the those crazy looking, wasn't it like crazy monkey dogs, or I can't even remember now
No,
what it was. What
those
was
were
it again?
baboons. They were really bad baboons.
Oh, they were baboons. It looked
They
like
were
some,
baboons. No,
looked
they were
like
really,
they
I
were real
know.
baboons because they almost look like
No.
they were like not real to me.
Yeah. Well, because they weren't. I know they were awful looking. They were like there were a couple of things with like the effects that were not great. Like the head
I
of Gaeta,
I
the
liked
head
them.
of Gaeta looked like garbage. It didn't look a thing like Joseph Quinn, and that man's pretty good looking. His severed head could have looked a lot better.
Well, okay, so I appreciated the baboons because I'm like, whoa, those are freaky. Because
I
I
mean, they
felt
were
like,
terrifying. I was still
yeah,
wouldn't want to be in a room with one, but
yeah,
well, and
exactly.
then I thought that maybe because like maybe we don't know what baboons look like. Maybe they were so maybe it's like a more historically accurate baboon. I don't know.
True. Could
Mm,
be true. You
yep.
never know. I do want to mention Denzel Washington. It's like, as much as all four actors were amazing, it's like Denzel Washington was acting his butt, or not even acting his butt off. When I say that, I mean, you can't even see it, right? It's just like, it's so, he's so good at it. It's just like, it comes out of him how to be, the
Mm.
bad guy, the villain, so good. And just,
Well, like kind of shocking. I guess I thought he was gonna like burn Paul Mescal in some way, but I didn't know it would be like as hard as he did. And I haven't seen a Denzel in something in a long time, so it was like I'd forgotten what a good actor he was, and then I was just like, "Yep."
he's
But
good.
I will say though, it
Yeah.
was kind of strange because he has like his like natural accent, which I think is like New York maybe when he was talking, and I was it was just weird to hear that accent in Rome,
Ah.
like that. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like,
I can understand what you're saying because maybe the other
yeah,
ones had more of a,
a European,
yes,
yeah.
accent. So, Paul Mescal, I thought he was really good in this. I love him since Normal People. I watched it right when it was coming out. So I know him
Hmm.
from when that happened. I stumbled upon that show, and I'm like, this actor's incredible. I'm going to follow him. I know I just liked him from then.
Hmm.
And of course, we've both talked about Joseph Quinn before because of Stranger Things and A
Oh,
Quiet
the
Place Day
chemist, he
One.
just.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's playing a bad guy, but I still
He was
like
so good
him. I
though.
know. And the color of his brown eyes in that one scene, they're like, I got this thing about his eyes. I mention them all the
They're
time, but
very warm.
yes, they are. They are.
They're like
Eddie!
little like cups of hot cocoa.
And Pedro Pascal. Wow.
Oh, Papa.
He was the first one that I knew, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to be in that movie. I have to watch it. So
Hmm.
I was so excited because he's such a
Oh,
good. And then when at first he comes to invade or capture and all that, I'm like, what?
I
Oh
know. I was
man.
upset,
But then
but
that
I was like,
scene,
mm-hmm.
with both of them, that was actually my favorite scene. Go ahead. What were you going to
Yeah.
say?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, but even though I think I knew he was a bad guy, I was like, bet you he turns in some way.
He did.
Just because honestly, I don't know that I could handle him as like an actual like villain.
Right. I
Oh,
know. What?
God. Nothing. I was
Oh.
just gonna say The Last of Us 2 comes out in 2025. We got like a date for that. Um,
Ah,
he's not really like
okay.
a villain in that show, but he's definitely like the
Not by the book
he's
or
like the
not the,
he's the anti-hero.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
anyway.
goodness. Yeah.
So
We'll
good.
look forward to that.
Heck yeah.
All right.
All right.
So I truly enjoyed this. I said I'd go back and watch it. I would. I loved the action sequences. I loved each of their performances in this. And I don't know, I found it for me, it was unique for me in some of
Hmm.
the scenes that I saw. So I would say the only thing that I remember thinking in my head was the ending. I wanted I wanted something at the very end because I felt like even though well, I don't want to give it away for people that haven't seen it actually, even though we've said so much, but I just feel like that little ending part, I wanted him to have more. He didn't have a wife or someone else to
But
be there to,
maybe that's for Gladiator 3.
yeah, true. That could be true. If there is a Gladiator 3, that would segue into that, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about, I really wish I had gone back to watch the OG first because I
Yeah.
didn't remember most of it. Like I forgot that he dies at the end. I was like, Roger, he didn't live, and Roger was like, no, bro, he didn't live.
You really missed that one,
I really
Sam.
missed the mark on that one. Um,
Oh
but
my gosh.
it's funny. Like I don't really have a lot of memories of like movies that I've seen, except for Gladiator. We were on vacation and it rained, and we had to go, and we decided to find like a thing to do, and we saw it in theaters. So
Yeah.
it was like a
Yeah.
nice, it was just nice to like continue that, I guess.
Yeah. That is fun.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. So check out Gladiator 2 because we both enjoy that movie too. So we're going to get back to our question of the day, which is what's the next blockbuster you're most excited to see, whether it's this holiday season or 2025? So, Sam, please share with all of us what you're anticipating.
I'm excited for two movies. I'm really excited for Captain America: A Brave New World, which comes out in February 2025, and then 28 Years Later, which comes out in June. You guys know I love my horror movies, so I've loved the two other movies, which was 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. And the movies to me are so terrifying, which I love, because they're kind of the most realistic, I think. It's a rage virus caused by rabies, and it's monkeys in a lab. And that's my brother works in a lab where that
Oh my
stuff
gosh.
kind of happens. And we've all, we make our jokes about it like around the holidays. And so it's just like, I love being scared. So I can't wait for that. And then Captain America: A Brave New World seems to Captain America Winter Soldier is like a top Marvel movie for me because I just love Sebastian Stan. No, I also
Yeah.
love it's just because it's a really good story. It's a really good action movie. Chris Evans is amazing. Chris Evans? Yeah,
Yeah.
great. And I love who plays Sam?
Oh, wait.
Anthony Mackie. I love Anthony
Yes.
Mackie. He's so funny. He's not but he brings like a bit of comedy to the role, which I think is kind of needed sometimes when it's like a drama like that. And I'm just excited to see what's going to happen in the next phase of the MCU because we've had it's been a tough go as of late. So I'm hoping we'll be able to get back on the right track with that because the TV shows have been phenomenal. So hopefully this will be our comeback, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I love those two that you're
Hmm.
anticipating, and I'm so glad you brought them up because I wasn't aware when they were coming out, and you reminded me about them, and I'm so excited about both of them. But I was going to say, 28 years later, that'll be exciting to watch.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
excited
also
for that.
upsetting that I could say I've been around to say 28 years. Like that's like a thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that'll be fun.
Hmm.
So I wanted to bring up a couple, and one is Nosferatu. I don't know if I'm
Mm.
pronouncing that correctly, but I think the main reason that I'm looking forward to this is because I've heard such good things about it. Like people are like fascinated with it. People are saying it's something that
So
is
scary.
unlike, yeah, it's unlike anything that they've seen before. I am not that much into Dracula or vampire type movies, but
Mm.
it makes me want to watch it.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
I love great film. I love great directors, great actors, great story. So that is why I'm looking forward to that. And these are in December, the ones that I'm
Mm.
bringing up. I'm also looking forward to Baby Girl, which is Nicole Kidman. Yes, I know she's in a bunch of
Oh.
everything. Yes, we did a podcast on Nicole Kidman recently. Go check it out. We talk about all kinds of things because she's like in everything right now. But this one is supposed to be, it's an erotic thriller. And she's a, CEO, and she takes up with an intern, and she's married and, has this affair. So it's supposed to be really good. And then I have to say Mufasa, the Lion King, because I like the Lion King. It's so great. I think that was the first musical that I saw in New York. So, and that was like
Ooh.
a long time ago, 22 years ago, I saw that.
Hmm.
So, and of course, I saw the movie, taking my kids and having them watch it and everything else. So, yeah, I'll want to see
Did your
that.
kids ever play the video game that was
I
on?
don't know.
I think it was
Maybe.
send. It's like you'll have to ask them. Ask them if they ever got past the ostriches. That is something that like every kid that's like my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, will be able to like come together on because you either passed it or you didn't. And that game was like so much fun. Like, I think you
Ostrich. Okay.
yeah, so I think you'd play Simba and you would get to do like some challenges and like the ostriches like you'd have to like go up and down and like avoid like hitting them and then it would go faster and then there would be like two and three and it's a whole thing and it got really hard. But
Ah,
if
okay.
they've played the game, then they'd be like, oh, that damn level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll ask them.
Anyway,
I'll
yeah.
ask them. There are so many more Marvel. I saw the trailer for Craven
Hmm.
and it looked really good.
Yep.
It looked really good. So, because sometimes I'm like, oh, do I want to see any more Marvel movies? I'm kind of like
Hmm.
burnt out a little bit, but
Oh yeah.
it gave me a little bit of a Wolverine vibe, like Hugh Jackman type vibe.
Hmm.
And I like that because I'm a Hugh Jackman Wolverine fan. So it just, I'm like, oh, I might want to watch this when it comes out. So I think it might be coming out soon. So,
I think it is coming out soon.
yeah. So there are our blockbusters that we are looking forward to. So again, share with us if you have one or if you want to see us cover one. We would love to hear that too. So please do so. Again, all of our links are in our show notes. All right, Sam. Before we wrap this up, I want to know if you have any other TV or movies that you've been watching that you'd like to recommend.
Sure. I've been watching The Buccaneers, which is on Apple TV. It's based on the book written by Edith Wharton. Essentially, four rich Americans go over to, I think it's like the 1700s or 1800s, like England, to stir up a bit of trouble. It's really fun. The second season starts in January. And then I've also been watching Silo on Apple TV, which is based on the book written by Hugh Howey. And that's essentially like a post apocalyptic, these people are living in a silo and they start to question some things, and you just kind of have to watch. And it's really good. And then on a lighthearted note, I've been watching the Holiday Baking Show, which is on HBO Max. And it's a mixture of like home bakers and professional bakers, and they have to do these weird challenges. The hosts are super fun. And my husband and I, we watch it like every Monday. It's over now. It's just so good.
I just realized I had 2025
Oh,
blockbusters,
down
but I
there.
will I will talk about that in just a second. I want to just give you one major recommendation, and that is Madness on Netflix. That is with Coleman Domingo. I think it's 8 episodes. Oh my gosh, it's was so good. I just finished it last night. It's really good. He's framed for a murder, and it takes you for a ride. Love Coleman Domingo. He's so good. So check that out. I'm continuing to watch Vikings. I know I'm really far behind everybody else, but anybody who hasn't watched it, check it out. Because look, I'm watching it just now, and we're in season 5, me and my husband. So we are truly enjoying that. I too watch Silo, so I'm enjoying that
Ooh,
also.
it's
Yeah.
so good. So we're only on like
Yeah.
episode four, I think.
Of the first season or second season?
Yeah, yeah, no, only
Oh,
the first. I've never watched
oh,
it before.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes, it's very good. And then it
yeah.
has season 2. Another thing that I was anticipating for 2025 is Karate Kid Legends, because I am a Karate Kid Cobra Kai fan. So that'll be coming out. Also, Wicked Part 2, of course. And then I have already mentioned Craven. So there's so much out there. I'm so excited. Friends out there, if you have something again to recommend us, please let us know. You can call us at 669-223-8542 or comment on any of our social media because we want to know what you're watching. Please share with us. Okay, and also to remind you, I do have TikTok where I give short 2-minute reviews on a lot of the movies or TV shows that I'm watching. And check out our holiday special, okay? So Sam and I break down some classics and some new holiday specials this year. So be sure to check that out. Sam, thank you as always. I love when you join me, and I'm so happy that you joined me this December.
Thank you so much for having me. As always, it's truly a pleasure to come on to your podcast and talk about things that I love, that I know that you love, and I'm just so happy to be able to share that with other people too. It's so much fun.
And yeah, it is. And I love it because, we finish our normal series and they're, done. And it's like, oh, what are we going to do? Oh, we got to do a holiday one. Oh, there's some blockbusters out there. And I love movies and I love talking about them. And I love talking about them with you. So thank you. All right, friends out there, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that something that we said today gave you a chuckle, gave you a smile, some inspiration. Please join us at screensandfocus.com and join our community because we would love more members of our TV club. And remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.